Hey guys, Ernest Odell here with the master genius of sales and car sales training, Joe Ingram. Joe, can you say hi?
Hello.
Let me do this. Let me see if I can't stop screen share for a minute, and let's put us on uh, twin view gallery. There we are. I wanted to get Joe on here if he wasn't really too busy today and kind of look at some of the things that he's been putting on the War Games group. And if you're not attending live, we are recording this because you can get it on replay in the group. And I will share it over to my timeline for my team members who are in Crete, Cyprus, New Zealand, and Australia, because you're probably waking up tomorrow. How's that Back to the Future?
Exactly. I love it.
Uh,
I did training for a dealer group in Australia, and that threw me like there was nobody's business. They're like, let's get started at what, 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, sure. Okay, that's the day before at 4 in the afternoon, or
yeah, it's like they're what, 17, 18 hours ahead of us.
exactly. And I'm going, okay, we're gonna start on Monday. That means I started on Sunday and totally missed that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you're over in Irvine, California, right?
I am.
Yeah.
Orange County.
Orange County. That is some beautiful country over there, I tell you.
Absolutely.
I was over in Julian, outside of East San Diego County, over at the old gold mines, going through the tourist town of the Julian gold mines. That was an interesting little location. Go out there paying for gold.
Yeah.
Still finding a little few nuggets out there. Nothing to brag about and nothing to write home about.
And nothing to pay for the trip too, but something to take with you.
Yeah, it's a memento. We'll stick it in a little case up on the bookshelf and say, I got that from Julian Gold Mines. But I was wondering if I could get your permission to kind of replay some of Manoj's points on AI.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I've got it bookmarked, and some of the points that Kyle brought up on email marketing and integrating AI into it. And I've got a classic example right here. Of course, I need to go back to screen share, don't I?
Yes. Otherwise, you're just showing yourself right now.
Yeah. So I'm just.
It's like practice.
Yeah. Go back here, share. Now, what I did is I compiled in Notepad. I'm old school.
Okay.
And on my desktop, now I'm on my laptop right now, but on my desktop, I'll turn the monitor off because I got this tip from Joe Vitale. Joe and I are personal friends. We've gone to a few parties over in East Austin, sat down and talked marketing. And he said, turn off your monitor, type until you get finished, turn the monitor back on, save it, and then go and edit, because when we're writing, we have a tendency to go back and edit.
True.
And we get slow. Well, when I found AI, ChatGPT, I would bang out my rough draft in about 15 minutes, punch it through and give the right question, as Manoj would say.
Mm-hmm.
Ask the right questions, give it the right prompts, and it'll come back with the right response. So that's what I did with AI, and boom, in about 10, 15 seconds later, I've got this whole article. And then I took from paragraphs here and there. I got about 30 different variations, and I just pull what I need and then change and put it in my own voice, because this is what I've been telling my team members: don't copy paste verbatim, because Google and a lot of these other search engines, including any descriptions that you put on your YouTube, they can tell if it's been generated by AI, and that'll get you flagged. It's happened to me twice. Okay. One of the other things that even Facebook will do, and I test, I don't do marketing on Facebook paid ads, but I will test engagement for copy in some of these groups. And it came back and it flagged me for cyberbullying, cybercrime, promoting cybercrime. It was just ridiculous. Okay. So of course I disputed it, but that's all right. It's a learning process for me to learn how to take 300-word article, give it the content, and tell it, now recreate an 800-word article with urgency, fear of loss, fear of missing out, FOMO, and then put it into a conversational style. And this is basically a template that I took from AI, tweaked it into my own voice, changed out some of the paragraphs, made it conversational, and said, hey there. So it's kind of like it's starting off, because I basically copied it from one of the emails. One of the things that I've been doing here recently is I'm working with High Level, agency marketing software, gohighlevel.com. And it's a very complicated system, but if you learn it right, you can really warm up a bunch of cold lists. And I had something like 709,000 subscribers that I had to clean. So I cleaned them first through Never Bounce. They didn't do a real good job on it because I got about 20% bounces. So I took my list over to Email List Verify, and I got it cleaned up to a little over 705,000. So I lost about 4,000 bad, dead emails, which is good. And ran some tests, and I found that the story, because this is one of the things that we teach over in Power Lead System with our Home Business Pro course with Greg Davison. This is $7 million email copywriter out of Scotland. I think he's still living in Scotland, or is he living in Portugal? But I've worked with copywriters, and when I saw Kyle's strategies, I said, I got to get some screen captures on this, and I haven't had time to put his panels up, but I was just impressed the other day. So I thought I would take some of that storyline suggestion that he made and then take it and share it with everybody. So let's see. Okay, what happened when, are you in Facebook jail? Oh, that's what happens when you message 500 people a day. Well, yeah, duh. See, this guy, Aaron, he's messaging people. I don't know if they're requesting information from him, but that's what Facebook does. They throw you in jail. Okay, because they're marketing like amateurs. So get people to chase you and not you chasing them, and Facebook will leave you alone. I'm going to close this out. I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to go over here because I've got you bookmarked on Joe Ingram, Sales Genius, and we've got AI with Manoj Agarwal. This See, I bookmarked your stuff, from the War Games group.
Yep.
I haven't been able to do a whole lot of engagement, in the groups for a variety of reasons, because I'm primary.
To win the sales battle.
I'm primary caretaker. Could you hear that?
We did. Yeah.
I'm primary caretaker for my 93-year-old mother, and she's on home hospice right now. So I kind of have to keep an eye or an ear out for her. We've got a caretaker that comes in during the day, and over the past, I'd say 6-8 months, it's just been one trip back and forth after another to the hospital and back, and now to hospice and home hospice. And it has really taken up a lot of my time because I am her protector and provider. My mom, she gave me life. She co-created life with my dad. Okay. She has other names for him, as most married mothers would.
Exactly.
But when it comes to protecting my mom, I said I got to keep the sheep separated from the wolves, and that's why I'm here, and I've been here for 17 years to take care of her. So I have been spending a lot of time, in that mode of taking care of her and protecting her, and making sure that she's comfortable and taken care of, and people are not taking advantage of her. Okay. So that's why I haven't been so active on Facebook. And that's probably why you haven't seen me in the War Games group all that much, because family comes first.
Agreed.
And
sometimes they need way more attention than your clients do.
well, my clients are doing fine. My clients are doing very well right now. I don't take on too many clients. I work with one or two at a time. Good friend of mine over in College Station, Charlie Page, he'll take on 10 or more. And, he's quintupling the prices on some of the projects that I've been working with him on. Because I told him, I said, man, I wouldn't do it for less than 10 times what you're charging. I wouldn't touch it, for less than 10 times what he's charging. So he's gone up 5 times because we've been on some really big high level projects, and he goes the extra mile for me. So anybody that wants to do some serious business on the internet with your business, I would say, see Charlie Page. I don't get nothing off of it. I don't get no pay. But, you want sales training, you see this dude right here. Didn't you train Grant Cardone, or did Grant train you?
Grant and I work together.
Grant and you work and I've got to get with him. I've got to get some investments into his properties. I got to move some money off into some REITs and see about getting some of that tax deferred money coming in on a monthly basis. But I'll have to call him. Either that or I'll fly to Miami and go see him, but I can't do it right now. So if you don't mind, can we play this for a replay? It's 37 minutes long, because I wanted to give some pointers to everybody who's watching this, what Manoj has to say. I wish Manoj was here. So I'm going to go ahead and start this, and I am going to mute myself.
Battle, then you have joined the right team.
If
In
you
the War
have-
Games group, we divide
If you have anything to say, just jump in and I'll put it on pause.
strategies for sales, marketing, branding, mindset, and attitude. We enlist the assistance from the most successful producers across all industries. We then share their knowledge and techniques with you. Our single goal is to get you ready for your next sales opportunity. When it comes to crossing the minefield of sales, step in the footprints of those that have crossed before you. Now, prepare yourself for boot camp and beyond. It's time for the War Games to begin.
We play a game.
Happy Wednesday, War Gamers. Joe Ingram, your host. Today, a subject very near and dear to my heart, and one of those people that you meet online, right? And still haven't met in person, but was lucky enough to meet Manoj through Steve Sims because we have a great sense of humor, and through many of our pandemic happy hours, got to know each other and go through, and then we reconnected again. But what you're going to be lucky enough to hear from Manoj, let me explain a little bit about him, okay? He is one of those individuals that is driving AI, okay, in our world today. And he helps startups. He's really, really good with AI, and he has impacted over 10 million people worldwide with what he has created and generating, $500 million worth of value put out into the world. So the guy's getting talked about, right? The software and the things he puts together are Obama's mentioning him. Bill Gates is mentioning him. I'm going to add Mark Rodriguez up to the screen as well. Mark's going to be joining us. But as you look at this, guys, he's got a portfolio for patented AI innovations. Okay, so he is just absolutely brilliant. He understands the game of business, sales, and artificial intelligence. So he needs to be the best friend for every person who watches this, whether it's replay or it's live today. So I'm going to bring him up right now. Manoj, how are you?
Good.
Games.
Thank you so much. That was a lot of hype built up. I don't know whether I'll live up to it, but thank you so much for having me.
Yes. So, and thank you so much for carving out some time, because I do know how busy you are. And,
Absolutely.
You're out there revolutionizing the world. So we know that. One of the things that, like, Mark and I both have this quest to get artificial intelligence into the automotive space. And how do we do that? We've already got several products that are moving into that space. And so, to me, first question I want to ask before you jump in and tell us how we can revolutionize everything, increase our revenue, our confidence, our business strategy, customer satisfaction, employee morale, all that can be done through AI that you've demonstrated. So it's not I think it could be, right? But in looking at this, do you see this doom and gloom associated to AI the way the world is putting it out, or do we see it's going to force people to level up in other areas?
See, what happens is, this is not a new phenomena. Every time a new technology is introduced, revolutionary technology is introduced, humans have a tendency to fear it or create these kind of environment where people start to doubt it. This has happened with anything from 5G to when the car was introduced or when the printing press was invented. So this is nothing new. The idea is that humans are always afraid of the unknown, and we always want to be comfortable with what we are used to, right? Now, AI is going to change the paradigms of how we live and how we think what work is, and how we do business. And that's a very, very, it's going to be a huge radical change. And if people want to understand this technology is not new. The change is already underway. We have been living with AI for the past 10, 20 years. And now the idea is that it has been democratized. People in the know who have the expertise and who have used AI for the past 20, 30 years, they are some of the most powerful and richest people on the planet now, right? You can name any rich person. Jeff Bezos, Amazon is all about AI. Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook is all about AI. Elon Musk, Tesla is all about data and AI. It's actually Tesla is not a car company. It's actually a data company. Same with SpaceX, all that. So all of these people realized the power of AI and leveraged it, but now it is becoming democratized and everybody can use it. And in this situation, a lot of fear, a lot of sort of confusion happens. That's a natural phenomena. But the idea is that if people are courageous enough to overcome that fear and ignore it and dive into it, people who take advantage of this wave early on, they will tremendously benefit from it. And we can go deeper into it, because anybody who's an early adopter of such a large technology wave, they generally come out very, very strong, and it's very beneficial to them. Maybe even in 3 years, 5 years time, a very short period of time, people who embrace AI will be much, much further ahead in whatever they are trying to do.
No, fantastic. And again, like I said, Mark and I are really jumping in on everything we can possibly jump in on. So we play in the sales game for automotive. So we train sales dealerships and the owners and all of their managers and how to become better, how to get in there. My first search, ChatGPT, when I got it, was how do I implement AI into the automotive space? And I was on call with Mark.
Yes.
So we were both going, well, at least let the AI tell us what to do.
Exactly.
But you being out in the forefront, you being part of this for so long, like one of the tools we found, the person's like, well, I've had clients on my tool for 4 years.
Yes.
And I'm over here going, really? I've only had ChatGPT for a couple months now. That comes up. Lynn, how are you? And so Brian Galke, which you have met before, right? He said it's a good thing he wasn't on today because there'd be too many bald beauties on the screen. So he's out driving. So my question is this: how does someone who is, let's say, we're not a multi-million-dollar conglomerate, right? We are an individual that is more of I'm a solopreneur than I am an entrepreneur, right? I'm still very dependent on it. How is it that we can utilize AI for us to get our businesses going, or how to help us?
Of course. So you see, one thing is that let's break down what business is all about, right? Business is all about people. And whether those are your employees, whether those are your customers, whether those are your partners, suppliers, what have you. And in any industry, from automotive to technology to real estate, it's all about people. And what happens is, in most cases, we as entrepreneurs, we have certain skills. We know, okay, I'm good at sales, or I'm good at technology, and I can build a business. But building a business needs multiple skill sets. I need to know sales, I need to know accounting, I need to know marketing, I need to know finance. And typically what happens is, when we are just growing as a solopreneur, we don't have a star team surrounding us, fulfilling all these duties and filling in the gaps in our skill sets. So we tend to do an average job at everything. So let's say I'm really good at technology, I'm working alone. I'm going to do an average job at technology because my mind is now, taking care of marketing and sales and all of that stuff now. But let's say I'm given an opportunity to hire a super intelligent person who has a Harvard level education in medicine, in law, in business, in history, in every possible field of study that you can imagine. This person has a degree and PhD in that, and this person comes to you as an employee for free, never takes a day off, 24/7 available. What do you think you will be able to do with that kind of a team around you, right? So
it'd be phenomenal, for one.
Exactly.
If I knew how to utilize that skill set. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So we are now getting there. Now, so you have this employee now, and the next question becomes, okay, so this is what AI is. This is a super intelligent human being available to you, ready to answer any question. And you said a very, very good thing here, where you said that we will ask AI to help us understand how we can use AI. Because at the end of the day, this is a super intelligent person who can answer any questions about the world, about ourselves, and about itself as well. So what I tell people is, start to use AI and get better at two things. One is ask better questions, because if you are not good at asking good questions, you are going to get garbage answers. And this happens in real life as well as with technology, with anything. Like even when as a parent I'm talking to my sons, if I ask a stupid question, I get a rude answer. So the idea is that uh, uh, we we in this current education system, we are not taught how to ask those questions, right? We are only taught, okay, the teacher is going to give you the questions, you have to come up with the right answer. And the fact of life is, we need to be teaching ourselves how to ask those questions. And so when you interact with ChatGPT, you can say, hey, I'm in an automotive sector and this is what I'm doing, this is my business, tell me how I can incorporate AI into my business. And then you can start asking questions about your employees. You can start asking questions about your prospective clients, and you can say, okay, I have a dealership in Brampton or wherever in New York in this suburb, and the average income of people is this much, and blah blah blah. Tell me what kind of cars will they buy, tell me what kind of value added services they will prefer. Now this level of information and insight you could only get earlier by talking to hundreds of people or hiring a marketing research company or what have you. But now you have this at your fingertips, right? And then you can, as you start to interact with the AI and ask these insightful questions, what happens is your mind starts to expand, and you start to get these very valuable and deep insights that now your mind starts to put more things together. The light bulbs start to go off and you say, okay, this is really great, I didn't know that, so now let me take the next step. Hey AI, give me a complete overhaul strategy on how I can implement all this, and then give me a tactical step-by-step process. What do I need to do on daily basis to implement that strategy? All of this is available to you, and now all you need to do is like get this information and take action to bring in the results. Now the second thing that I ask people is that clear so far?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So one thing that popped up was Assad came in and said, how reliable is the information?
Okay, I'll speak to that in a minute.
Sure.
The second thing, what people need to start using it for, to tell better stories. And the reason is because, as I said earlier, business is all about humans and the relationship that exists between humans. And those relationships are formed when we communicate in a way that resonates with other human beings. So now, a little bit of a history lesson here. Humans evolved over 200,000 years on this planet. Okay, writing was invented about 7,000 years ago. Before that, there was no writing. Before that, all the information used to be passed from generation to generation through storytelling.
Yeah.
Right?
Mark
So
remembers that.
yeah. So we used to teach our kids how to hunt for food, how to find shelter through storytelling. So that is embedded in our mind, that stories are the thing that carries the information and we remember them. So, and again, in the current day and age, we have not been taught how to tell better stories. And so now you can go to ChatGPT and give it any situation. You can give it a sales situation, you can give it a personal situation, and you can say, okay, give me a very detailed, very very detailed and emotion evoking story, something that evokes emotions in people. And when you start to tell those stories, when you start to share those stories, you'll immediately realize how better of a communicator you have become, how you become a magnet of people just want to talk to you, or people remember you, or people, like you can do this experiment even in your own family with your friends or family. Like, if you want to connect better with a friend, rather than just talking about what you talk about, share a story. I was listening to this podcast, and I remembered this feeling that I had. We went on this picnic together. Whatever that story is, when you start talking in stories, people connect very, very well, right? So if you start getting better at these two things, new avenues of thought processes will open up, and you will start to get so much better at connecting with people. Amazing things will start to happen, is what I'm saying. And this will not take too long. Maybe in a couple of weeks, maybe in 10 days, 15 days, you'll start to see the impact of this. So that's one thing. Does that answer the question? And I'll move on to the next question of how reliable is the information.
So Assad also threw out there that he uses it. It's a great copywriting tool, right?
Yes,
Because it fixes all of my errors and changes it. But no, I loved the part of emotion evoking. Then you can probably go in and say, I want it to be, evoke this emotion.
Exactly.
Throughout the thing and let it go through and do it for you. That's great. So the first thing you said we had to do is ask better questions. Is the second thing tell better stories?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
so perfect. So now I know how I'm going to master it and going through. Because Mark and I send prompts to each other all day long, and then we test it on his side. He's in New York. I'm on the West Coast, California. So then we check to see if ChatGPT or any of the other ones are going to give us the same stories.
Yes.
Manoj, in the very beginning, when Joe and I were looking at this, one of the first conclusions we drew right away was the power of OpenAI wasn't so much the output, it was the prompt.
Yes.
The better you could become at engineering, or even reverse engineering the prompt, the better your output. And you're right. It forced you to think in ways that we're not used to thinking.
Exactly.
It forces you to think, instead of if you're doing a camera, telephoto lens, right? Was that wide lens, right?
Exactly.
It really it forces you to really begin with the end in mind and work backwards.
Absolutely.
And so Joe and I went back and forth with that, and we just started working on crafting better and better prompts.
Absolutely.
And listen, I'm East Coast, he's West Coast. I would call him at 6 a.m. in the morning his time. He's like, dude.
I'm not reviewing prompts with somebody from bed. Thank you, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can see that, like, even in science fiction movies, we saw all these powerful and intelligent robots helping humanity, right? But if you don't know how to ask them to do certain things, they are just gonna sit there. Like, in Star Wars movies, R2-D2, like, they are not autonomous. You have to tell them what to do, and then they will do it, right? So that's asking the right question. That's prompt engineering, right? So and then the other thing with ChatGPT is that I highly recommend people personalize the prompts, not just use the prompts that other people have written, because what you want to do is you want to reflect your personality in everything that you put out there, because each individual is unique. Each individual brings a different background, different life experience. So and AI is like a chameleon. It can take on any form. It can take on any personality. So if you personalize the prompts, that has even deeper impact. And so the next question is how accurate the information is. You see, first of all, the information is limited to September 21, and that is being fixed. In few months, I believe that it's going to be like all up to date. But at the same time, it is only using the information that humans have produced. And as we know, humans ourselves, we are not honest all the time. We make up stuff all the time, right? Even in our daily lives, I'm sure anybody listening, me, you, at some point in our conversation with somebody, we did not have all the correct information. We just filled the gap with something we made up, right? So that's exactly what AI is doing. 95% of the time, it will be accurate, but 5% of the time, it's going to just fill in the gap. It's like just hallucinate, right? So what I tell people is, if it is a low stakes game where you're just writing it, using it to write an email or something along those lines, it's not a big deal. You can just take the input and double check it, and then. But let's say if you're using it to, create a legal case or, create
A
something
binding
that is
document. Yeah.
exactly that is high stakes, then you have to do your due diligence. You cannot just like trust that AI is going to give you this output. And in fact, I read a news article about somebody using ChatGPT to file a legal case against airlines, and ChatGPT just made up all the stuff, like it was not true, and the judge threw it out because it was just based on false information. So you have to do your due diligence. At the same time, we are in a very, very early stage of this technology, so slowly and steadily everything will start to become more factually correct and things of that nature. But today you should use discretion and understand how important the work that you're doing is, how much what are the stakes, and then based on that you can fact check it before you share that information with anybody else.
Yeah. Before you put your name on it as yours.
Exactly.
Yes. So I do have a personal question for me,
Yes.
because that's why I have a show, so I can ask. So Manoj, what are like your top 3 favorite AI tools that you're using, right, in your business, where we can look and say, because a lot of times, like for me, the reason I sit down and I'm so intrigued by AI is I don't know what it can do that I could get done for me. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. See, so the first is ChatGPT. Like because I am in technology, I know what happens in technology is that as the gold rush starts, there is so many tools that come out, and then as quickly they come out, with the similar speed, they just fizzle out as well. So I try to look for things which are more stable, more popular, and more scalable. So obviously ChatGPT is one. If you're doing graphics, then Midjourney is great one, like for graphics. And then there is a new tool which is called Chat with PDF, chatpdf.com. So with ChatGPT, what happens is, like, it is really good at answering questions. But let's say if I have some documents that, so I read a lot of books and things of that nature, and it takes a lot of time reading books. So what I wanted to do was, okay, what if I can upload a PDF, long PDF into AI, and then have it learn it and then explain it to me in like 5 minutes, and that saves a lot of time. So with Chat PDF, I can upload like a 200-page document, and then I can say, okay, learn this, and then I can ask specific questions, and then it'll give me those specific questions. And not only that, like, and I will recommend people take caution in this. I tried it, and I'll share it with you. I uploaded a financial statement from my bank into Chat PDF, and because these are public platforms, so be careful. Don't just upload all your company documents in there. But just as an experiment, I said, you are now my CFO. Understand this financial statement and give me advice as a CFO will. Give me my budget, give me ways to save money, give me ways to make money, and give me like really good advice. And I'm not a finance guy, I'm terrible at numbers, and so now I have a fully qualified CFO sitting with me,
right,
giving me advice, and so these tools are really, really powerful and can make a real big difference in your business right away.
I used ChatGPT the other day, and I was teasing myself with it. And so I'm looking at it to say, how can I integrate Zapier so it can go do things, kind of stuff. And so I said, write me instructions on how to implement or how to utilize Zapier with ChatGPT, right? But phrase it as such you're explaining to a 5-year-old. Okay, so then as I'm going through, it tells me Zapier is like casting a spell.
Yeah.
So you want to type in, and I'm reading this whole thing at the end, and I'm like, I started laughing. It's like, and poof, it's magic. This happened, and I was like, wow, that was great that it just
Yeah.
came up with all
Absolutely.
that stuff. So,
Yeah.
so what are things that people could offload to AI, right? Like you were saying, like write me an email reply or something. Like there's extensions you can add to your browser where you can just click the button and do that. And if anybody needs help, call me. So, but my question is, what could I sit back and look for? Like, I love the advice from the CFO. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. I love that one. But as the paradigm shifts, what is it that we need to be looking for?
See, in my opinion, anything that needs physical effort, like, I need to pick up something from here and put it there, only those things will not be suitable for AI. Even those will be sort of, there are humanoid robots coming which will solve those problems. But anything that needs cognitive sort of power, you need to think about new ideas, you need to exchange ideas with anybody, anything that is happening in your mind, that you can definitely offload to AI. And the other thing is, I want people to start getting into the habit of, as soon as they have a question, you can say, oh, this question can be answered by AI. So this very question can be input into AI, and then get into a conversation. Get into conversation in the sense that don't just take the first answer at its face value and say, no, I find some holes in it. Explain it to me better. And then you can ask AI to say, these are my opinions. Find some blind spots that I'm not seeing here. So you can ask it to correct your opinion. But any question that you can come up with, by default, I want people to get into the habit, just like just like kids are in the habit of asking their questions, like their parents or teachers, because they know that anything in this world can be sort of tackled by the adults. So they are worry less. If you look at kids, they are worry less. So you become more playful with that and become worry less, that hey, anything that I can I need in terms of ideas, in terms of answers, AI can give it to me. And then like it becomes your companion in a way.
No, I like that, because I've heard it multiple times, but when, like you said, you're having a conversation, but the fact that you said on all the prompts, because I'm guilty of it, right? I'll take a screenshot, then I'll use iPhone's technology to grab the text, then email it to myself so I can put the prompt in. But you're right. It's how do I personalize it to me? Like, I had written chapters of a book, and then I went in and told it, I want you to ghostwrite for me in my voice. What do you need? And it was give me the chapter title and give me examples of your writing. And I put it in, and then it wrote the next one as if it was me. And I read it, and I was like, wow, I'll tweak a couple things, but you pretty much hit it. Yeah.
Yes. The other thing is, I will not like get so obsessed about copying and preserving prompts, because the thing is, this is a ever evolving technology, and we are also ever evolving human beings. Right. What our situation is today, it will not be the same in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. So once you start getting better at using this, is just think of it as another human being in your life. So we don't remember, okay, when I was talking to my son or my girlfriend, if I said this, I got a good response, so let me save that and let me remember that, because I want to say that over and over again. You just get a feeling, okay, how do I interact with that person, that we have a very good conversation. And once you get into that mode, you don't need to remember prompts. You just go with the flow. Of course, I'm not saying like if you have a long prompt or you want to tweak it, save it, but there's no need to get obsessed with saving all the prompt, because now the next problem becomes, oh, which prompt did I use last time? I can't remember, right?
Right. And then that's going to cause you to say, when I remember, I'll come back, and then you won't utilize the tool. And then
exactly.
You'll be gone. That goes from there. So no, that's fantastic. I appreciate you on that one. So I'm getting text ones as well. So can it help you with writing ads to be more effective?
Absolutely. Now, I will again say to people, try not to use AI as a technology, but as again as a human being. And you are a human being, and you are targeting human beings. So don't just say write an ad to sell automobiles. Say, I am 40 years old. I have been in this industry for 20 years. I live in New York. This is the way I talk. I'm trying to sell a high performance car or luxury car to a successful business owner, and their age is around 50 years old. Their concerns are they need a high performance car, but which is also suitable for their family or something. So when you say all these things, now you tell AI to create an ad, it will be really targeted, really sharp. It'll hit the nail on the head. But if you just say generically, okay, give me an ad to sell vehicles, it's going to be not as sharp.
Perfect. Okay, so another one came in. Assad's excited about the subject too. So looking at, there's many companies promoting chat bots that are run by AI. What should an automotive dealer look out for with all these companies hitting them?
See, so with chatbots, people really need to realize that the conversation flow needs to be very smooth and personalized. So it typically before last year, chatbots were more about just like if and then if they use a certain keyword, then add this text. If they show this emotion, like there was a very limited understanding on the computer's part to understand what the customer is saying.
Right.
It's still it's not perfect even with ChatGPT, because realizing the real emotion of the person in real time and responding, it's not an easy task. So in my opinion, this technology will get better and better. But what I can say is, if you want to use chatbot, just make sure the conversation flow is really smooth. It's quick, it's contextual, and it's highly personalized.
Absolutely. So like, for example, Mark and I, we broker a product that is AI over the phone for dealerships, for appointment setting and things like that. And to us, it's revolutionary that for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on holidays, somebody could call in and schedule an appointment to get their car in, right? And it comes up, and it is getting better. We heard it bad, and then we heard it get better as it goes through, right? And so one of the tips Mark just threw out here was make sure you ask OpenAI to create tables. So when it produces the output is very easy to read. And so if you go, give me the differences between this and this, put it in a table, now it becomes something much easier to go, oh, positive, negative, right? And neutral points all come out the same way.
Yeah.
So,
not only that, like it can create graphs and things like that. And this technology is just the beginning. Those of us who are old enough to remember, like when the internet was just starting out in 1990s, early 90s, the first few websites were like really kind of useless, like just plain text with some images. Even then it was revolutionary, like people were sharing information. So now we can log into our bank, we can visit a doctor, we are having this conversation on a website. So so you can imagine in a few years, that's how much of a difference it will be. Like AI will be literally be able to give you much more detailed and formatted and multi-dimensional or multimedia type of output. Even like custom videos it will be able to do.
No, that's fantastic. I love that. So JR said it's an amazing show content. We're giving you the credit for that one, Manoj, not me, right? And then Bob Donnell is here too, so he said it's amazing. Mark doesn't recommend OpenAI as a online dating assistant. Yeah, thanks, Mark.
Well, actually,
you can tell stories, Mark. You can tell stories in your dating profile.
I actually used it, and it worked. It worked out nicely because you can add. I mean, again, you can use it to optimize your dating profile first of all. But then, when you get a response, you can paste that response and say, okay, write a response for this in a witty way or something personalized. It actually really works.
Because Mark's speaking from experience. Thank you,
Yeah,
Lynn. Yeah. It's true. It's true. Well, I always think like all of your NLP trainers, right? They go in there, like my buddy Michael Stevenson, he's a big NLP mastery guy and stuff. So he wrote his profile to get the perfect woman that he wanted, and he got her, right?
Yeah.
And so why not use technology to get through this?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that
Well,
makes
so
perfect sense.
Joe, what I'm referencing there is if you're having the conversation and you're taking what the other person says and dropping it in, and now it's responding as you. When you meet this person face to face, if you can't articulate the way AI is, you will be
Right.
found out.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
that's
actually, you just put the phone under the table, and when they ask you something, you type it in. Right? You go, I have a disorder where it takes me time to think, so I just need you to know that. Yeah.
yeah.
Yes. There you go. Assad threw it up there. It just came in right after Mark said it. What happens when you go
There
on
you
a
go.
date without
Exactly.
GPT? Who has to go without? Guys, there's an app now.
Yeah.
They put out the little app, the little white app right there, and that thing's so fast. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I think eventually we will just stop talking to each other, and our AI will talk to other person's AI, and then do the work.
It's true. It's going to make it easier for us. Yes.
Yeah.
So perfect. I am over time with you, Manoj. I do appreciate everything you shared with us. I put the link down below, the s.manoj.biz. So if you go to that one, you can see he's got his business growth backed by data and AI. He's got a consultation call. He has a community of leaders that are ambitious, right? And he has a podcast too as well, right? Bootstrapping Your Dreams.
Yes.
That's it.
Manu, thank you for
I
your time.
suggest everybody jump over to on the screen. For those of you on YouTube that are watching, I already put the link in there for you, and on LinkedIn, you guys have that as well.
Joe,
So,
thank you for having me on, brother. And Manu,
No, I
thank you so much
appreciate
for
you,
the
Mark.
information.
Thank you
too.
so much. Thank you.
Appreciate you. So thank you so much. I do appreciate you, Manoj. You've been amazingly valuable for us. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Everybody, get out there and sell something. Thanks.
Did we learn anything? I can't hear you, Ernst. Ernest, I can't hear you. Might be my computer, but let me turn it on.
Oh, here. Now
Now I got you. Yeah.
I had to take my sound off. I had to mute my button and mute here.
Right.
What I wanted to reiterate was I had taken, yes, you can't hear me. Yeah, there's a
I
lot of
can
people, a lot of people, they say, I can't hear you and I have such peace. But that's what my colleague says over here about 3 blocks around the corner from me. He says, I can't hear you and it's so nice.
Exactly.
But I was taking notes the other night when I was watching this, and I shared the link with him. That was Anthony. I told you about Anthony, and you got him in the group and everything, and he watched it and he says, man, I'm totally blown away. Anthony's from South Africa. Okay. He's from Joburg. And he's fascinated with this ChatGPT and the AI. And I sent him the other link on Kyle. And I think what I'm going to do is not go the extra hour because we've already gone over about an hour now. I think what we need to do is kind of give our viewers a little taste of, coming events, and maybe do another one with Kyle's replay and bring Kyle on if we can. I think you emailed him, didn't you?
I did.
And I think I got a reply back. We got one from Mark and Manoj, and I think Kyle did too. So some of the notes that I'm wanted to reiterate was the first time I saw ChatGPT was late one night. I got up, go get some coffee. I'd been working, and I laid down in here to kind of rest and take a nap and check the back of my eyelids for leaks. And I saw Ken Walls on here with Glenn Morshower, and they were just going through this ChatGPT, and I'm sitting here watching it. Okay. And I got to thinking, I said, Ken is so creative because he just found this new thing and he's made a course. And I'm just wondering if he used ChatGPT to make the course.
I do.
So I wanted to ask ChatGPT a question because this is something I'm working on. I've got this big project, and was talking to my project manager. He says, don't you think that's a little unrealistic? What it is I have several product lines that are high ticket and I need to come up. Well, 2 or 3 days ago, my projection date was 45 days. I need $500,000. Day before yesterday, it was the window kind of shrunk and I lost 30 days. Now we're down to 15. Today it's 14 and the clock is ticking. I'm saying I've had much bigger challenges. So I thought, let me demonstrate before we go and give everybody something to chew on so that when we make our next event, they can come in and see what Kyle has to say on his presentation when we use AI and apply these principles to email marketing. And I'll see if I can't get Greg Davison to come on with us from Scotland and, kind of put us a group together, because I can seat 100 people. I could do more if I just bumped it up, but try to get 100 people on here, it's like pulling teeth. So let me do this.
Everyone's got a different calendar, and no one's in the same time zone.
And that's cool, because we can record this and then put it up there for replay like you do in the war games.
Right.
And I sent the link over to the team. I'm saying, hey, get into the war games group, tell them I sent you. Okay.
Yep.
And I, we were talking about reverse engineering, our prompts and output, asking better questions and telling better stories. Well, I asked AI one evening to write me an 800-word article on the dark side of AI. Guess what it did?
It did exactly that.
It wrote, and it talked about how it would impact the labor market when these robots start interacting. And they already have McDonald's and KFC stores in other parts of the country and around the world where they're running on an AI kiosk. And they have maybe 1 or 2 humans there to make sure that things don't go awry.
Off the rails. Yep.
Yeah. But basically everything else is done by AI. Cooking the burgers perfectly, everything's done, packaged and shipped, because they swipe their card right there on the kiosk and it's delivered to them. And I'm thinking, this is going to put a lot of people out of jobs. But as Manoj would say, people were always afraid of new technology. the printing press. If you remember the Gutenberg press when it first came out, it's like there were people in the Roman Catholic Church, and Protestant churches said, well, that's evil. That's the work of the devil. And now it's, the printing press has evolved into what we're using now is one of the most advanced modes of communication, where the newspaper, when newspapers were being printed and put out 50 years ago over here at the Lubbock Avalanche Journal, now, we used to get a Sunday paper that looked like a telephone book. Today, they can't even give these things away, and they're thinner than a school notebook. If I can, I got that background. So yeah, it's just crazy. One more, writing books. I've had it rewrite some of the chapters of my books, articles and emails in my voice. I've had it create, like Mark said, tables and graphs. When Manoj said, create tables, and then I give it a prompt to tell, I give it the parameters for the tables and list things, and it gave me HTML output. It gives me code for redirects. And I'm saying, not only is this thing smarter than the fifth grader, it's smarter than me. Okay. So that's the kind of help I like with it. One more, I got a question I'm going to share, and then I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to move my toolbar out of the way. I got to go here and ChatGPT. I'll have to blur this out.
And one of the things I'll tell you too is, like, I use it on my phone. Sorry, there's my camera. And it does table format on the phone too.
Yeah, it's like crazy. This stuff, I'm not going to record this portion of logging in, because sometimes Facebook comes back and says you showed personal information, or if I embed this video into an MP4 and then put it up on YouTube, YouTube comes back and slaps me. So
yeah, I got that too. Showing someone how to log into a CRM, and it was a hidden video, and it still slapped me.
Yeah, I have to edit before I put it up. So now what I'll do is I'll go back and share screen now that I'm logged in, so they don't see my email address. Okay. Now I want to put this up here out of my way. Here is my, you can see I've been doing a lot of work here. There's the dark side of AI.
Yeah, good point. Yes.
I love this. Yes. Create an 800-word article on the dark side of AI, and boom, societal concerns, the bias conundrum. It's great, So that was one. Now I'm going to go into a new chat, and I love the little emoticons. Okay, I want it to create. Give me a very detailed outline that shows how to create a marketing strategy that generates $500,000 income stream in 14 days by selling a big ticket commission product. Boom. Research and preparation, crafting the message, paid advertising, launch phase, webinars. It's like, it's telling me what I already know, that I need to do. It's just putting it into an outline. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. So I take this and I'll use this as an outline. Now I do copy, and I come down here, open up my old school notepad, paste, and then I'll go back through this and I'll chop it up. I'll put it in my own voice. That's just one example, boys and girls.
Can I add to that one too?
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. You want to,
In the actual prompt, I always tell it its role. So I would say you are a Fortune 500 marketing and branding specialist. Develop me the big ticket item strategy, whatever, for the $500,000. And so that it understands where it's supposed to come up with this and what its persona would be.
okay, let me copy this and go down here. And then let me reword the prompt. This is all like you said, like you and Manu said, ask better questions.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and so one thing too, in this strategy, so if you look over there, anytime you want to talk big ticket about this thing, you use that prompt on the left. Don't start a new one, because this will keep the roll going the whole time. So everything that's done in there. So like we were talking earlier when I said, oh, well, I go into mine and I have one where ChatGPT is my business consultant. I have one where it's a marketing consultant. I have one, and I gave it these different roles.
Mhm.
So when I go back in, I'll say, hey, I need to come up with this. And now I put everything in and just said, hey, you're my partner.
Yeah.
Right. And then I put it in there and say, I want you to be able to do this, this, and this. And within that one role, as long as I stay in there and say, okay, big ticket strategy, every time I go there, it knows everything that's above it. And it knows everything in the role and what you've done. So you don't have to go back where it goes, oh, I'd love to do that. What's the product? And you're like, wait, what? Because you
Yeah.
started a new thread.
So now what I need to do here is basically in a format of continuation, I need to tell it, you are a Fortune 500
Marketing and branding specialist.
marketing and branding specialist. And I need you to give me a very detailed outline. I need to reword this, right?
So right there, to give me a very detailed outline, I would just say give a step-by-step outline. So that way it understands it. And one of the things I play with was, like I said, on the other side, I go, I'll put in there and explain it to me like I'm 5,
Okay.
like I'm like a 5-year-old. And then it'll put it in all these really simple terms and put it all in there. And I'm like, oh, this is so much easier to understand.
You're a Fortune 500 marketing and branding specialist, and I need you to give me a step-by-step outline that shows how to create a marketing strategy that generates
$500,000 income.
that, let's say, that sells a big ticket product and generates a $500,000 income stream in 14 days by
Right. So then
selling.
after that, so what I would do is now I get rid of everything after the 14 days.
Right. And then,
No,
and
you grabbed the wrong one. Control Z.
yep, Control Z. I
Yep.
went the wrong way.
Now I also will tell it, are there any, like I'll say
Who
before
is my
beginning,
target audience?
who's your target audience? You'd have to ask that. That's why my next question that I put in there, before completing the task, are there any clarifying questions you need answered? And so
Okay.
now it knows the whole scope and it will ask you questions that it needs, like what is your target audience? What would be the product? What would be this? And it will ask you the clarifying questions. Now you can go with that.
Okay. Absolutely. Before proceeding with the step-by-step outline, I would appreciate some clarifications to ensure that I provide you with the most relevant and effective strategy. Could you please provide more information about the following points? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this so I don't lose it, because I like to keep notes on notes, and go back over here and paste. Okay. Go back over here. So it needs,
So you could literally at this point, you can go one by one, or for me, I answer in one prompt. So I would go number one, and then I'd put number one dot, and then I would give it the answer to number one. Or I would say, I'm open to any product you feel would generate the income. Provide me with 8 suggestions. And then I would go back to number 2 and say, currently, I'm not branding, I'm not doing this, I'm not, those kind of things, and let it go through. And you can ask it to fill in each individual section, or you can give it to you. So
now here's something that I could do here. What I do is I take and answer the questions point by point, copy, paste it, and punch it back in.
correct.
Product details. Can you describe the big ticket product you're selling? What is its unique selling proposition, price point, and target market? Okay. The product is an online internet marketing course that teaches basic and advanced fundamentals for creating a profitable business online. Its unique USP is that it's easy to understand and implement for people of all skill levels and ages. The price point varies from $100 to $1,500. Current branding and marketing. Okay. My current branding and marketing is through paid ads, solo ads, and native ads. I also use blogs, newsletters, and email marketing. Could I provide some insights into your current branding marketing channels and any ongoing campaigns? I think I answered that preemptively. Resources, what resources do you have available for this campaign? My current resources are high level agency software systems, and my budget is limited at about $50,000 per month. Team members have over 20 years experience and background in this technology. Okay, sales cycle. What is a typical sales cycle for this type of product? Understand the decision-making process and timeline will help tailor the strategy. The typical sales cycle is an average of 7 to 14 days using email follow-up and phone and text. Competitive landscape. Who are your main competitors? Okay. Main competitors are ClickFunnels, Groove, Pages, and several other all in one content creation systems. My audience, let me get this up here because I need to go back to what we're doing here so I can see. Audience, do you have a well-defined target audience? If so, could you provide details about their demographics, psychographics, and main points? My target audience is mostly the 40 plus male and female looking to supplement their income from a job, or those who are looking to free themselves from the shackles of a job. We also have a large audience of retired people who are technologically challenged, and they are looking to supplement their social security pensions. Marketing goals. What are there specific goals or KPIs that you'd like to achieve within these 14 days, aside from the $500,000 income stream? My marketing goals are to increase our sales revenues to at least a $500,000 per month revenue stream over the course of the next 3 to 5 years. Now, what do you think?
I believe we've hit enough for it to understand what you want.
Now, what I need to do is chop out their questions, and I'm not going to blow this out, but I'm going to start another notepad, blow this up. I'm going to move this over out of the way. I don't know if you can see this tab or not, this toolbar. Okay, now I'm down here, scroll this down.
So chat's smart enough to understand if you pasted the whole thing in there.
I'm thinking it probably is. What do you think? Let's
I'm
try it.
thinking it'll probably figure out exactly what you want to do.
Once I have a better understanding of these details, I'll be able to craft a more precise and effective step-by-step marketing strategy outline for you. Okay, let's do this. Boom. Thank you for providing those details based on the information you've shared.
So now if you go, now we've got 14 different things, right?
Say continue. Certainly, let's continue with the step-by-step. Diversify marketing channels, foster partnerships.
26, 29.
Okay. This is something I learned from Ken Walls. Continue. Give me some more. Customer referral program, competitive analysis, continuous training and skill development. I keep telling people, I said, you've got to learn new skills. You cannot stay where you're at. If you were a trained engineer over for BASF, and they've got computerized
a lot of places
training.
come up with continuous education.
Yeah.
Right. Continuing education. You got to keep going. Yes. But the repetition is what's necessary to make sure you understand everything. So you can use whatever number it was, and you can tell it expand on number 44. Expand on this, and it will go, oh, I get you. I know what you're doing because I wrote them all out.
Yeah. Guest experts and lecturers. Look at this. Cultivate a brand community. Okay.
So you can turn
Expand.
around right now and say, I would like 4 suggestions for item number 44. And then it'll come back and go, oh, I get you. And it'll give you
Okay.
4 suggestions. I like to be different instead of going, give me 3,
me-
give me 4. I would just come up with something weird.
Give me 4 suggestions
For number 44. Yeah.
for number 44. Dude. Look at this.
And see how it knew that was cultivate brand and community.
Yeah.
And so now it comes back and goes, yeah, I got you.
Options.
Yeah.
It's got some bullet points in there. This is awesome.
You can also at this point go rewrite this in table format. Right. And so it'll go, oh, let me put out what it is, what you want. And
Rewrite number 44.
yeah.
Where's my whiskey bottle? This is
But if
freaking
you have-
genius.
If you have a virtual assistant, it's much easier to go copy this, send it to them and they go, oh, I get what you want to do. But you
Yeah.
can also say, develop, right, in table format, a strategy based on the following social media platforms.
Develop in table format a strategy
For
for
the following
the following
social media platforms
social media platforms
with, you can say with USP and
with USB
messaging.
and messaging.
And then I put colon, and then I put Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
TikTok?
Yeah, TikTok, sure.
Anything else besides these?
So I
Snap.
only tell people, you tell it which ones you have accounts on that you want to use. So if you
Okay.
say, I don't have Pinterest, then just wipe it out.
Yeah,
Right? So
I do.
some
I
of
have
us go,
all
we're not
these.
going to put ads on Facebook, so we're not going to use it. But right, some of
I
us
know
that are-
people that are making, $1,000 a day with just TikTok.
Yeah.
And I said, do you know that the Chinese own TikTok and they're probably spying on you? I don't care. I'm making $1,000 a day. They can't get my money.
Right.
Don't-
And then
don't
we
be-
say, which social media platform is not spying on you?
Yeah. So let's enter, develop in table format the strategy. Certainly. Look at this. Connect, learn your hub. Customizing your message to align with the unique attributes for each platform will help you effectively communicate your
So,
online
so it's looking at and saying Pinterest is a different person that would need a different USP
Mhm.
and messaging. So it's unlock that, where if you come down to Facebook, it's connect and learn, your hub for online marketing exposure, marketing expertise, because the focus of Facebook is connecting.
Right.
So
Wow. It's better to have two minds, talking to Chat GPT. I would have never
well,
thought
as
of these
soon as you
questions.
give it the persona of your assistant, or that second mind, right? Because
Mhm.
I've done it before where I've had it do exactly what I say, and then I tell it, is there anything I'm missing from my original outline that you would recommend? And then all of a sudden it goes, well, yeah, you're lame. You only thought of those 6 things, and it does it.
Yeah.
Now
Is
we've
there
been using
anything,
it to generate it, so it shouldn't have a lot of stuff on this one.
is there anything I am missing? I like to use contraction because it understands. Is there anything I'm missing in my previous questions? Based on the information, dang.
It
Okay,
adds risk mitigation for us.
yeah. How do you mitigate the risk? You know, what if you have a contingency plan in place? Most people don't.
No, but I would go back and say, generate number 8 based off of this business. Or you can say generate a sample risk mitigation plan, whatever works, but I use number 8
Generate-
because I don't want to type as much
Right, generate
Right.
number 8
for this product and business.
for this product or business. Did I do that right? I didn't ask the right question. Generate.
Well, there you go.
I should have said generate an expansion. Here's a suggestion for your marketing campaign that aligns with your product. Risk, technical readiness, which we are. Communication strategy, we got that. Alternative channels, okay.
Right, but you could
Um,
right now when you say the communication plan, right, or the scenario planning, develop contingency plans, you can tell it develop the contingency plans based on potential scenarios that you associate with this type of business. And then all of
Yeah.
a sudden it'll go, okay, great, this is what we think.
Wow.
And if you're on 4.0 with link access, it'll go out on the web and generate stuff and go back.
Yeah. I probably need to upgrade to 4.0.
Just remember, everything it based everything off on 3.5 is only based on up to 2021.
Right, right,
So that's still a majority of the world.
right. And it's still learning. So, Joe, this has been fantastic. This is a learning process just having you here for me, you know, and I hope that everybody else benefits from this when they watch the replay. I don't think anybody is watching it live right now.
No, but we are on a Friday night where most people aren't sitting there
Yeah,
watching.
we're on an hour and 38 minutes. So I think I need to probably start wrapping this up. So it's only what, 6:40 over there and
7:40.
7:40. That's right. You're 2 hours behind me. I'm thinking east and west, 3 hours. All right. Oh gosh, man. I think what I need to do is, so I don't lose all this. And I don't keep these things very long. I usually put them in a notepad file and just throw it up on my desktop and then punch it over into a folder and I go access it later, chop it up, and then I delete it when I don't need it. I don't throw away this kind of stuff here. Okay.
I'm just going to say good luck trying to find it.
Yeah. And then what I'll say here, I'll save the file, save as. And I'll put it on my desktop where I can find it. Um, keep it simple. All right. I think I need to log that out for right now. I just, I love to create articles. I've been writing since I was in high school. I started with limericks, the 5-line meter. Um, there was once a girl named Sally who got caught with the cook in the galley. I'll leave that there. I'll
Yeah, I
leave
was gonna say,
that.
don't clarify.
I can go places with that one. Oh gosh. This has been great. Joe, I appreciate you coming on, because if I had tried to fly this thing solo by myself, I would, I'd still be paddling through the mud.
Absolutely.
We got to do this again. We got to get Mark on here and get Manoush and Kyle. See if I
Yep.
can't get Scott, because one of the things that I wanted to do with some of this right here is create some content, teaching content. This group that you're in, it's mostly Power Lead System members who have gotten into the gold program. They've bought all in, they've bought all the back products and the educational products. And we have, products like the MTI Master Traffic Institute, and we've got the Home Business Pro. I'm one of the course creators and contributors with Brian Bracken, our programmer. He does some interviews. He's been showing people how to use AI. There are other instructors in there that have been using AI. So I think we need to contribute this, because this is like ratcheting up more than just a notch or two. This is like, as Grant would say, 10x
Yes.
of anything that I have seen so far. This, what you have contributed tonight, and I want to thank you. I'm going to worship.
Right. I get you.
I'm going to say this has 10x gone beyond what I've seen. Show people how to use this, and then our next session, if we can get Kyle on here, show people how to apply it to email marketing, because I've been doing this. I'll say, rewrite this paragraph and put it into a more conversational tone or an urgent tone, and give me 10 subject lines, or write a short 5-line solo ad, 65 characters wide, and plug this URL into its appropriate place, and it'll write me 10 or 20 different solos, because I do a lot of solo ad through very limited suppliers. Not all solo ad vendors are created equal.
Correct.
And there's only like 2 or 3 that I use. There's one, he won't even take any more business, but he will take business from me, okay? Because he knows I'm not one to whine about results. I know it's all about testing. And I try to tell my team members, you've got to get over this lottery mindset, okay? Just because something sticks, that's not the purpose of writing solo ads and getting clicks and opt-ins. The whole purpose behind solo ads is to build leads. Continue to add leads to your database.
Correct.
They're not all going to buy the same thing. Some will buy different products and systems. Not everybody's going to buy. So that's where you start segmenting your list, as Kyle would say, 30, 60, 90 days out. And then, if they don't buy something, you don't kill the leads, you just archive them, and maybe go back and see them 6 months later and send them a
I was gonna
broadcast.
say, set it to long-term follow-up. Yeah.
Right, long-term follow-up, and go back and nurture them and wake up a dead email list maybe a year later. I've had people come back a year later and
of
and
course.
they'd buy in,
I had a guy follow me on LinkedIn, never connected, but watched me for a year and then emailed me from my own website saying, let me do it. And it was a 12 dealership deal.
Yeah,
And he never once hit connect on LinkedIn. He just followed, watched my stuff and said, I've been watching you for a year. And I
Yeah.
like everything you're posting.
yeah. Oh, this is great.
So
I'm going to shut it down. I don't have any music outros and intros. And I'm going to say thank you so much. And let's
Of
get
course.
together. And, I get these ideas and I want to do them impromptu. And I want to thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming in
this
impromptu.
was an office day today. So that's why
Yeah.
we lucked out. Yep.
Yeah. So is Friday usually an office day for you?
Yeah, I like to have at least one day where I'm in the office working on the business as opposed to being in the business. And
Right.
so, yeah. So I usually reserve Friday, Saturday for that, Sundays for the chill. And
Yeah.
then, but
Yeah, Sunday I turn everything off, everything gets switched off. I go to church and when somebody was asking me if I had a support group for caretakers, because there's a lot of stress
of course,
in that job, taking care of somebody, especially when you're related to them.
yep,
I said, I'm a Marine. I don't have a support group. My support group is my church family.
right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. They, my two brothers and my family and my sisters and my cousins, they are my support group. Yeah. So I've got all the support I need. So appreciate you, Guy.
I was absolutely, my brother.
Let's
gonna
stay
head
in
out.
touch, and
Yep.
I'll head out. I'm going to go get me some more coffee because it's going on 10 o'clock and I have to have my night cup, not my night cap.
Got it.
All right.
See you, Ernest. Have a great one.
All right.
Thanks to everybody who's watching.
Thank you again.